I'm still hopeful because our nation was built on, the support and the hard work and the innovation and ingenuity of people from around the world, right? And that's undeniable, that people from everywhere, every corner of this earth have contributed to the success of the United States. And so, I just see it as I see it as just a speed bump in the road, because I know that ultimately, people realize that our country was built. Our strength is our diversity, and we've all contributed to, in a positive way, to this country.
And today's conversation is exactly about hatred, about love, about what we could do on body shaming, racism, because it really started with Miss Miriam and quite a few people from our law firm were meeting with Miss Perry in the East Cleveland Library, and there was so much bad things going on. We were gonna do in person, and then we were Zooming, and it was so much horrible things, and we're really worried about people's safety. So we canceled the whole thing, resulting in today's conversation about this. So Miss Perry, maybe you can start and tell us what happened on that day or events leading up to that day.
Okay, so the library meeting, just to be clear, nothing hateful happened in East Cleveland. It was canceled because our electricity went out. A big tree fell. What was weird is then we tried to move to Zoom for scheduling reasons, and people came into the Zoom with profanity, with obscene pictures, and so we couldn't do it. And so Attorney Miriam, between the two of us, we decided it's better to meet here anyway, so therefore it was a blessing in disguise, because ICE could have been on that Zoom, ICE could have came to the library, and this way that's not happening.
And Attorney Miriam, what do you feel about this? Because you are new in the city of Cleveland in the state of Ohio. Actually, we recruited you, and thanks for moving to the city of Cleveland. So tell us what happened that day in your idea, because Miss Miriam is of Hispanic and Latino descent. In fact, she is a lawyer from this beautiful, beautiful country of Mexico. And our law firm, work very, very closely with the Mexican consulate. I just love them. So if you need anything from Mexican consulate, there is a email you can send them, call them. They really help a lot of their people. It's just very nice. They actually also have a lot of grants, giving scholarships out to children of Latino Hispanic descent. They work a lot with hospitals, universities, to be nice to the Latino Mexican people. They also, inside the state of Mexico, have funding to help people to come legally to America to apply for tourist visas and stuff, so people don't have to come undocumented. Attorney Miriam, yes.
Yes, as Miss LaVora Perry mentioned, when she reached out to the firm for us to have this conversation originally about know your rights, we were very excited, because it's very important for all of us to have leaders of the Black community reaching out to help the immigrant community. And the fact that Mrs. LaVora, she actually reached out to us and she said, hey, we want to inform not just the Black community, but the immigrant community of East Cleveland about their rights. That was very important for us. We were very excited. Unfortunately, they lost power and because of the storms at the library. And then we decided to reschedule, as she mentioned, right, via Zoom, because we thought we can reach out more people.
Yeah.
They will be safer.
Yeah.
And to be honest, answering Mrs. Wong's question, it was hurtful. I think that's the way I could describe it, not as an attorney, but as an immigrant myself and as a minority. It was hurtful because we have the Black community that personally I can say the Black community and the Latino community are very together they are very united. So when I first came to US, most of the support I felt from coworkers were black coworkers. So we kind of rely on many things like our culture, the way we speak, the way we behave. It's very, very alike. So now as an attorney in US as well, being able to work with the black community to me is like giving back to my first years in US to the community that actually supported me a lot. And being in that Zoom meeting, hearing the profanity towards the black community that were making an effort to make this meeting happen, and then also words that I'm not going to repeat that were told to the immigrants like myself, it was very hurtful. So I really think this meeting it's necessary, it's needed, it's healing, and most of all, it's going to be very informative.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
introduce us to who you are and what made you want to be a mayor.
Well, my name is Sandra Morgan, and I am the mayor of the city of East Cleveland, and I am honored and delighted to be so. I mean, I ran for mayor because the city of East Cleveland has numerous needs, and our citizens really deserve to have those needs met, and I felt that I can do that, and so that's why I ran, and I'm really glad that I won. But let me tell you, just based on this conversation, it saddens me to hear that the Zoom link was hacked into, but I'm not surprised because over a number of years, as a reminder, I have served for a number of years as the honorary consul for the United Kingdom here in Ohio, and worked with my fellow consulars, right? That represent many countries. There are 19 here in the city of Cleveland, and several others throughout the state. And even without the pressures of the immigration pressures that we are facing right now, there were people who were just very unkind and very narrow-minded, quite frankly, and that did not show respect for other cultures, other ways of thinking, diversity writ large, diversity of thought, diversity of culture, diversity of
Age.
looking at things,
Right.
age
How we
and the
look.
like.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I have to say that I'm saddened, but I'm not surprised. That it was hacked into, because it has happened in other cases, and around when we've had conversations around Israel. There've been many times when things have gone south quickly, when we've had conversations around Latin America, around other areas of the country, and it's really unfortunate that there are folks that feel that way. But I'm still hopeful because our nation was built on the support and the hard work and the innovation and ingenuity of people from around the world, right? And that's undeniable, that people from everywhere, every corner of this earth have contributed to the success of the United States. And so I just see it as just a speed bump in the road, because I know that ultimately people realize that our country was built, our strength is our diversity, and we've all contributed in a positive way to this country.
And can you explain to our listeners about the conversations you and I've had right after your election and
Yes,
your
I mean, there
recruiting
are-
of investments and
Which is a wonderful thing,
Uh-huh.
that people from around the world are interested in little old East Cleveland, right? They're interested in coming to the city of East Cleveland, to live, to invest, to build businesses and to build a life. And I think that is in part because we're open-minded. I've said that we have opened our doors to the world, and I mean that. Our city really will benefit and thrive from an influx of people from around the world, not only Northeast Ohio or writ large, but from around the world, and it makes us all the richer, intellectually, culturally, from a business perspective. It means a lot to have all different people and all different perspectives in any community.
That's an amazing thought. I was so impressed when she called one time and said, well, if you don't mind, can you come meet with some Chinese investors? I'm like, East Cleveland? I mean, they don't even, for one thing, they don't have that much public money for tax purposes to build. And here is a new mayor, the first woman mayor to say, I need help in recruiting people to invest in my city. And that's amazing, because most of these investors from Asia, they bring cash, right? But she gets it as the first time a smaller city in the whole state of Ohio's mayors who called and say, I would like you to help us do that. I mean, I was totally impressed and floored. And also when I find out who she is and what she does, I'm like, my gosh, what an amazing feat. So I just want to thank you.
Well, thank you.
So
Yes.
very nice. Yes. So again, tell us what about the difference between honorary ambassadors or like people who actually
Okay.
work in the
Well, and so as the honorary consul, most governments will appoint, they have a diplomatic corps. There's the structure of the traditional diplomatic corps, just like here, the State Department with, ambassadors, people that work in the embassies, and then they will typically have consuls general and others that are stationed strategically throughout a country. In the United States, we have, as you know, multiple ambassadors in Washington, D.C., and they will, depending upon the size of the country, they will have individuals throughout the country who serve as consuls general, which usually have a large region, and then consuls throughout that region, and then finally people like me, honorary consuls, who are typically citizens of the host country, in this case the United States, citizens of the host country that are, that have been in the business world, that have been, either in the political world, the business world, the philanthropic world, in some way they have profile. And they are charged with helping the country that they represent make inroads in the state that they're in. So for my part, and various honorary consuls have different charges. My charge as the British honorary consul was to do three things. Number one, to promote bilateral trade and foreign investment. And the UK, I'm proud to say, was perennially one of the top 10 trade partners for the state of Ohio, with about $7 billion in bilateral trade every year. Number two, to promote cultural understanding, so that, as we were doing business together, Ohioans understood or got to know British culture better, and vice versa. The British culture got to know the United States as a whole, but Ohioans in particular, and then lastly, to protect His Majesty's citizens when they were in the state of Ohio. So if someone got sick, or if they were, were in the hospital, or if they got in trouble, then I would call you, or something along those lines. And so to make sure again, quite frankly, to make sure that their rights were respected when they were in this country, whether they were sick or they were, in trouble or they lost their passports or what have you, but to defend their rights as per the Geneva Convention. All right. And so it was, I am no longer the honorary consul because I can't be now that I'm mayor. But it was a wonderful experience, and it was an experience again that gave me a marvelous foundation and real grounding in understanding the role of diplomacy, the role of understanding cultures, and being tolerant of others. In this country, and it promoted business. I mean, at the end of the day, having that grounding and understanding, having a good understanding of culture, really helped us to promote business.
What made someone like you who's so local? I mean, you're so pro your area, your home, your circle of influence. What made you interested in communicating with people like us?
Right now, this hasn't happened in East Cleveland, but the other places where it happened, they didn't think it was going to happen there either. And I want us to be prepared. We're all going to die, and we're going to come to a point, at that point, where we're going to have like a summary of what our life was about. And so I want to be able to say, to the degree I could, because you call me an activist, I don't feel that way. There are people who do way more than I do. But I want to, because you never know when that time is coming, I want to know I did my best.
That's amazing.
Welcome.
Attorney Miriam, I would love to hear your view because you're also very new in town. And what's your view of the state of Ohio, Cleveland, where you live? Because you just keep moving, not just, but yeah.
So to be honest, I have been to other states in U.S. and I think other states are more open-minded and they embrace more immigration. When I came to Ohio, the president was Obama, and it was, I have to admit, it was easier for an immigrant to be an immigrant on those days. I could easily go to the stores, and sometimes I didn't know how to pronounce some words, or I didn't even know the word in English. And people around, they were very helpful. Mostly, again, the Black community, because I also felt more drawn to ask them, right? So, because they were very, very helpful. When it comes to the white community, they were also nice to me, were nicer back then, right? Suddenly, things changed drastically. Even when my accent improved, my English improved, I went to college, so technically my English level was way better. But my treatment personally was a little bit worse. And sometimes I didn't even need to talk. I just was putting gas in my car, go back to your country, okay? I was on the phone with my father in speaking Spanish, of course, and people just stop in front of me and say, speak English, even when I wasn't even talking to anyone else, but I was on the phone. So because of those experiences, I think that now being an immigration attorney to me feels very personal. It feels like something I need to do, not just for my own professional growth, but also because I want to help the community I belong to. That's the immigrant community. Working here at your law firm, to me it's
At our law firm.
at our law firm, it is such a big honor because this law firm was built by an immigrant. Sometimes I look at her pictures and I just see when she was very young and I think, wasn't she afraid? Because sometimes I'm afraid. When you ask the mayor and Mrs. Perry about if they were afraid, sometimes I am, even like making these videos because my name appears in there and it's so easy just to Google and all the information appears. But the fact that there are women, strong women like the three of you, right behind me, giving me that support, that makes me think, okay, so this is worth it. This is worth it. We have come so far. You know it better than everyone else, but there's still more work to do. And that's why when Mrs. LaVora Perry reached out to me meant a lot because she's doing something that not many people do, that is asking for help to help others. So that's amazing. I'm very grateful to the three of you, both of you, for coming here and you being able to speak up, and you for, first of all, employ me and give me this big opportunity to contribute back to my community.
Again, thank you for joining us, listening to us with all four of us, as three amazingly powerful women. And I couldn't wait to hear from you. Follow us and tell us your promise. We would love to help you answer your questions.
I have to add something.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think of contacting your law firm.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what made me think of it, but I contacted 3 different people. When I called your law firm, the receptionist, without talking to anybody, I said, I'm in East Cleveland. I like a lawyer to come talk about ICE. She said, okay, we'll get somebody to do that.
Oh,
it was
that is so
amazing.
sweet. Yeah.
And then you said yes, like right away.
Oh my
it
gosh.
really brought tears to my eyes that they were like, yes, we'll do it.
Yeah. It's important. He's the one who pushed us and